In a published experiment that involved 689,003 people, researchers changed what users were shown in a social feed and observed a shift in the emotional language those users later posted. That's not a movie plot. That's a reminder that what you see can shape what you feel, and what you feel can shape what you do. So if your decisions don't feel like yours anymore in 2026, you're not imagining things. AI sometimes nudges us. It doesn't control us, but nudges compound. Kathy O'Neill, a data scientist, says algorithms are opinions embedded in code. And when those opinions decide what shows up first, what disappears, and what keeps returning, your choices can start happening inside a lane you didn't consciously choose. Subscribe to Mind for AI and click the bell icon and watch till the end to stay ahead of the systems shaping your decisions. Because once you can spot the pattern, you can take your mind back without quitting the internet. Picture a normal morning. You open your phone to check one message. Your lock screen already offers you a suggestion. Your email app highlights a priority thread. Your news feed shows you a headline designed to spike your attention. Your video app cues something perfect for you. You haven't made a choice yet, but your day has already been arranged. And that's the first reason decisions don't feel like yours anymore. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from a preloaded set of options. You're scrolling late at night. Your brain is tired. Your patience is thin. And you tell yourself you'll stop after one more. The next clip is slightly more emotional than the last, slightly more confident, slightly more addictive. You feel yourself lean in and you think, why am I watching this again? I didn't even choose this topic. Then your thumb keeps going. Quietly, you open a shopping app for one boring item, a cable, a cleanser, a replacement part. Then you see recommended for you, and it feels helpful, like the app is saving you time. You pause for a second, and now the recommendations sharpen. You add one item you didn't plan to buy, and it feels like you were being efficient. But if you're honest, you weren't shopping. You were being nudged. You sit down to work, and a tool suggests what you should write next. A calendar suggests the best time to schedule. A platform suggests the optimal subject line. You choose the suggestion because you're busy, and nothing bad happens. But over time, you stop noticing the moment you outsourced the decision, because it's wrapped in convenience. You don't lose your freedom in one dramatic moment. You lose it in tiny defaults. Here's another micro moment. You're in a group chat and someone drops a clip that makes you angry. You watch it once. You comment. You share. You get a little rush of belonging. Tomorrow your feed thinks anger is your favorite flavor, and it starts serving you more anger because anger keeps people engaged. Did you just feel how believable that is? Because you've lived it. Before AI-driven feeds, life had more friction. You had to search for things. You had to ask a friend. You had to go to a store. TV had schedules. News had a front page that millions of people saw at the same time. You still had bias and persuasion, but you also had more pauses built into the day. Now the pause is optional, and many systems are designed to remove it. Autoplay, infinite scroll, one-click purchasing, notifications timed to catch you when you're bored, lonely, stressed, or tired. The difference is not that humans became weaker. The difference is that the environment became smarter. And here's what's really unsettling. Decisions don't feel like yours anymore, not because you're incapable of choosing, but because you're choosing inside a stream that was designed around your predictable moments. Algorithms can nudge decisions by predicting patterns based on your past behavior. What you click, what you skip, what you replay, what you linger on, what you comment on, what you watch when you're tired. It's not mind reading. It's probability, trained on millions of people and refined by your own attention. You're not just consuming the feed, you're training it. Tristan Harris has warned that many platforms optimize for attention and engagement because that's what they can measure and monetize, not necessarily for your well-being. That's not a conspiracy. That's incentives. So what is the problem exactly? The problem is not that AI has a secret plan to control you. The realistic problem is simpler and more powerful. The order of what you see shapes the order of what you think about. And the order of what you think about shapes the decisions that feel natural in the moment. Your decisions start feeling less like choices and more like reactions. And that emotional pain is real. Not dramatic. Real. You start feeling scattered. You start feeling behind. You start feeling like your attention is never fully yours. You start feeling like you're living in a constant next thing. One more scenario. You search a health question, totally normal. The next day your feed is full of worst-case content. You feel anxious and you don't even know why at first. Then you realize, I'm being fed fear, because fear keeps me searching. Another scenario. You watch one productivity clip. Then the next recommendations are more intense, more shame-based, more extreme. You feel motivated for 5 minutes, and then you feel smaller. And suddenly, you're not building a habit. You're chasing a version of yourself you feel you must become. That's the emotional trap. Pressure disguised as help. The moment you learn why your brain becomes most predictable online, you can flip a few tiny switches that make these systems dramatically less powerful on you, without deleting every app. Hit like if you've ever looked up and realized you got pulled into an app with no memory of deciding to stay. Now let's solve this like adults. What is happening, why it matters, and how to fix it with practical steps. Here's the what. In 2026, you're surrounded by ranking systems, recommenders, search ranking, trending lists, notification prioritization, auto-suggestions. These systems don't have to force you. They just have to decide what goes first. And first is powerful, because your brain uses what is first and frequent as a signal for what is important. Here's the why. Your attention is your life energy. What you repeatedly attend to becomes your mental climate. Your mental climate shapes your mood. Your mood shapes your behavior. Your behavior shapes your outcomes. So the real danger is not that AI decides everything. It's that it decides what you notice most. And now the neuroscience that makes this makes sense. When you're tired or stressed, your ability to self-regulate gets worse. Executive control and sustained attention drop with sleep loss and fatigue, which makes you more likely to go on autopilot. This has been discussed in sleep and cognition research, including work summarized by Dermer and Dinges in Sleep Medicine Reviews. Source: Dermer and Dinges, Sleep Medicine Reviews. So when you scroll late at night, you're not just bored. You're biologically easier to steer. Your brain is strongly driven by unpredictable rewards, a principle described in behavioral psychology through variable reinforcement schedules. You don't keep scrolling because everything is great. You keep scrolling because something might be great. And the unpredictability is the hook. Source: Foundational Behaviorism work by B.F. Skinner on reinforcement schedules. You don't scroll because it's good. You scroll because it might be. Now combine that with AI ranking optimized for engagement. The system doesn't need to control your mind. It just needs to keep placing maybe in front of you when your brain is most likely to bite. Did you just feel a nudge while I said maybe? That's the mechanism. One more reality check that makes this feel less abstract. Data Reportal's global digital reports have repeatedly shown that average daily time spent on social media is measured in hours, commonly around the 2 to 3 hour range globally, depending on the year and region. This isn't a small habit anymore. It's a major environment. Source: Data Reportal Global Digital Reports. Environments shape behavior. So if you want your decisions back, you change the environment. Now the how. These are small, beginner-friendly moves that work because they don't rely on you being perfect. They rely on you adding friction and building choice points. First, micro-action. Insert a purpose sentence before you open a feed. Before you open any app that can loop you, ask one question. What am I here for? One purpose, one task. If you can't name it, you are not choosing yet. You are about to be chosen for. Say it. What am I here for? Second micro-action. Reclaim the pause. Turn off autoplay where you can. If you can't, build a manual stop. When a video ends, take your hand off the phone for one breath. One breath is enough. Then decide whether to continue. The breath is not a spiritual ritual. It's a cognitive reset that gives your planning brain a chance to re-enter. Small pause. Big power. Third micro-action. Train your recommendations instead of letting them train you. Use not interested. Use don't recommend this. Unfollow accounts that spike your nervous system. Clear watch history during days when you are not yourself, like when you were sick, stressed, or doom scrolling at night, because those clicks become training data too. The system can't tell the difference between deliberate you and exhausted you. It only sees engagement. Stop rewarding what you don't want more of. Fourth micro-action. Do a 24-hour decision trace. For one day, write down a few moments where you felt pulled. Not everything. Just the moments that felt automatic. What were you feeling right before? What did you click? How did you feel after? This turns a vague feeling into a map, and maps create control. Fifth micro-action. Widen your input diet on purpose. Personalization narrows unless you actively widen it. Follow at least one calm voice that disagrees with you without being cruel. Add one evidence-based source instead of only hot takes. Choose creators that leave your mind clearer, not more activated. A narrow feed feels like reality. That's the trap. Now, a believable way to use AI to help you instead of letting AI shape you. Use AI as a mirror, not a master. Take your decision trace notes and paste them into an AI tool. Then ask it to summarize patterns. What emotions show up before I get pulled? What time of day I'm most reactive? What topics trigger impulsive buying? What sequences lead to mood drops? The AI might not be perfect. It can be wrong. But it can spot repetition fast, and repetition is what you need to see. Because once you see the trigger, you stop blaming yourself and start designing around yourself. If you notice you scroll when you feel lonely, you plan connection instead of scrolling. If you notice you buy when you feel anxious, you add a friction rule like waiting until tomorrow for non-essential purchases. If you notice outrage hijacks you at night, you block it during late hours and replace it with something calmer. Design beats willpower, especially when you're tired. Here's an analogy to lock it in. AI is like a chess opponent that studies your openings. If you always make the same move when you're bored, stressed, or uncomfortable, you become easy to predict. But deliberate moves are harder to predict than defaults. AI is best at predicting your defaults. It struggles with your deliberate choices. That's the identity shift for 2026. Reactive consumer to conscious chooser. Not because you quit the internet, but because you reclaimed the pause, you trained your inputs, and you stopped letting your weakest moments become the system's favorite moments. So let me ask you the question that matters most. If your decisions don't feel like yours anymore, where do you feel it most? Scrolling, shopping, notifications, or news? Comment below, because your answers shape the next Mind for AI videos. Like, share, and subscribe to Mind for AI if you want realistic, practical breakdowns that help you stay human inside systems optimized for attention. AI sometimes nudges us. It doesn't control us, but you can make your choices louder than the nudges.